Time for another edition of Youth Profiles. I'm Bill Riley, the play-by-play voice of the University of Utah, and our profile this week is with a guy that's been back. We've talked to some newcomers on the last couple of Youth Profiles. This time it's going to be one of the wily old veterans on this Utah basketball team, junior to be, Riley Battin with us. How are you, Riley?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. So what has the last 6 months been like for you? The last time I saw and talked to you was March 11th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. After that, everything came to a close. You went back home. You had the summer there. You've been back on campus. So walk us through the last 6 months for Riley Battin.
Hey, it's been crazy. No one really knew what was going on. You had to pretty much come up with whatever type of workouts you could do and stuff, and I kind of got in a rhythm, and I was able to get a lot of stuff done during this time, which is great. And then I also got to spend a lot of time with my family, which was a blessing, because I've barely been home for the 2 years I've been here so far. So it was great to spend some time with them.
And now you've been back for the last few weeks. Has it been good to be back with your teammates, be back on campus, be back working out? Now you're back in school again. Somewhat normal. I won't say completely normal, but a little bit more normalcy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to kind of have this, schedule going again. It's great to be back with the guys. That was probably the thing I missed the most, being home, was just, the competition and just hanging out with my brothers, and with school starting back, it's starting to feel a little normal, but, there's still some bumps in the road with like these Zoom classes and, no contact in practices, stuff like that. So
you can get a little bit of work done, but some normalcy is a step back to full normalcy, right?
For sure.
So what did you spend your time away working on? You got 2 years under your belt as a Utah basketball player, as a Pac-12 basketball player. What did you use kind of the time away, whether it was back in Southern California or even this summer working with some guys? What have you been spending that time on working on with your game?
I've been working out a ton, especially when I was home, and I mean here too. But when I was home, I continued to work on my jump shot, the fundamentals, post moves, stuff like that. And then I really tried to change my body. That was the main thing I was focusing on. I was running like 5 times a week. I was doing sand workouts. I was lifting. I was doing all this, and I really cut down on some body fat. I gained some muscle, and I really feel like I changed my body over that time, and it was great for me.
Do you feel like you're at a point now, as you enter your 3rd year of the program and 3rd year as a college basketball player, at least from a physical standpoint, where you want and both need to be?
Yeah, for sure. I think this summer was definitely a huge step for me. I think I kind of took the last 2 years and looked at them, and I said, okay, this is what I need to be like to be successful. And I really worked hard on it, and I'm happy with what I've done so far. I'm going to continue to work on it.
Riley Battin on our youth profile today, as we talk a little bit about what the off season was like. So you take stock of things. How did you feel like last year went for you? And where did you want to get better from a basketball standpoint going from year 2 to year 3?
Well, I feel like our team had a bunch of ups and downs overall. We had some really high highs, like, Kentucky, BYU, Minnesota, games like that. And then, we had a tough go when it got to Pac-12. This year, I feel like we all have an extra year under our belts, another extra year playing together. And we got to make sure that the lows aren't super low and we don't get too high with the highs. We have to stay, even, and just keep getting better and better as the season progresses if we want to get to where we want to be.
Last year was kind of weird because there were no upperclassmen. Fonz was a junior, and so he was one of the older guys. You and Timmy were in Booth, who's now gone, were the sophomores, and then there were a bunch of newcomer freshmen. So it wasn't like you guys had a ton of experience together. This year's going to be a little bit different. You're a junior. Timmy's a junior. Fonz is a senior. And then all the guys that were freshmen and newcomers a year ago have another year of the program. So what does that experience do for you guys when you get together and maybe when you get back out on the floor again?
Yeah, I mean, it means everything. just having that year and knowing kind of what to expect is huge. I mean, even last year for me, I knew way more than, the newcomers had coming in, and it was a plus for me. So just for them having that year under the belt, and then, like you said, for Timmy and me and Fonz to be like upperclassmen now, that's just a whole nother boost for us when the season comes around.
Have you guys set any internal expectations? We don't know when the season's going to begin yet, Riley. We don't know what the schedule's frankly going to look like. But for you guys, have you set any kind of internal expectations for yourselves on some things you'd like to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it for sure. I think the main thing right now we're focused on is staying ready. Whenever the time comes when the season's going to be played, we're going to be ready. So that's the main thing, keep working. I know some schools are like not practicing stuff right now, and that we're able to do this is great. It's a blessing. And whenever they say that we can play, we'll be ready to go. And hopefully, we can make something special happen this year.
Are you guys all checking Twitter and reading the newspaper and getting on the internet to look for signs? Because we had heard initially, and nothing's changed yet officially, but the Pac-12 had said January 1, but now there's been some reports that maybe the season could begin in December. Are you guys checking every day to see if there's any new news?
I'm sure some people are. I'm kind of personally, I try to stay off social media for the most part, but, I'm definitely checking ESPN, and I'm asking the coach if there's any new updates, stuff like that, because, we're all antsy to get after it.
You guys have team workouts now. You're allowed to be together. Coaches are allowed to be with you a little bit too. Is it different this year? I know last year talking to you guys, but also talking to Larry and the staff, there was a lot more coaching and teaching when I say that because there were so many new faces last year. Is it a little bit different this year? Most of the guys in the system have an idea of what's expected?
Yeah, a lot of the guys have that year now. At least, where they learned all the basics, all the terminology, stuff like that. And with the restrictions right now, it's a little bit tough to get into like the X's and O's. But it definitely seems like it's less teaching and more like little things than the whole big concept right now. So yeah, I think we're getting in the right direction with that.
I would guess having 2 years with Coach K and Andy and Tommy and guys, you have a good idea of what's expected, right?
Yeah, for sure. I try to help the younger guys out, especially like the incoming freshmen, try to help them with terminology or, just giving them little tips of how to, improve. And if I can help a guy with one little thing, that'd be great.
What would you say right now, Riley, knowing this group as you do, and you guys have been together a little bit now for a while, what would you say the strength of this Utah basketball team is right now?
I feel like we're a deep team. I think we have, many options offensively and defensively, that we could go to. And I feel like, we have a really solid team all the way through. There's no letdown with any player. And I also think that our relationships off the court will help us on the court too with that chemistry, because we're all like great friends. Like we hang out all the time. Like, sometimes on teams there's little cliques of certain people, but we don't really have that on this team. Everyone is pretty connected, and it's really cool to see.
Who would Utah fans be surprised to see? Either a physical transformation or a basketball transformation, or even just a newcomer? Who would open some eyes right now if we were in a practice right with you guys?
Well, I mean, there's a few guys that have really, you could tell they've been working, a couple of guys basketball-wise, but the main, like, straight-up visual difference is Lahat, for sure.
Really?
Like, just right off the bat, you can walk in the gym, and if you walked in a year ago and you walked in today, it would be like, who is that? Like, I think he gained like 30 pounds or something during the off season, and he's looking big. So I'm proud of him, because that's one of my best friends. So to be able to do that is sweet.
I've heard the coaches talk about Ian Martinez as an athlete and saying we haven't had a guy like this in the program. Now, you've only been here 2 years going on 3, but we talked to Ian last time around. I'd be curious from an athletic standpoint, is this guy pretty freakish?
He might be the most athletic person I've ever seen. It's crazy. Like, sometimes he'll do things, and it's just like, how did you do that? Like, it's pretty cool. And you know, he's a great player too, and he's an even better person. You know, he's one of the nicest guys on the team. He's always looking to help people out and stuff, and you know, that's really cool about him too.
So if we were lining up a 3-point shooting contest, and you can include yourself in this, handicap the 3-point shooting on this team, because that's kind of where you live. You live out above that arc. Fonz got, and the last time we saw a Utah basketball game, Plummer was out of his mind. We know that Ryland can shoot it a little bit. Ian can shoot it a little bit. You line it up for me. Handicap a 3-point shooting contest on this Utah basketball team.
I don't know. I'm sure everyone on our team would want a piece of the 3-point contest. I don't know. People have been shooting it well. I always see people in the gym working, so that's a tough one. You know, the names you said are probably up there, but you know, everyone would want a piece of it.
Okay. You're being very political right now. We'll have to get into this as the season goes along. What would your message be for the Utah fans that are kind of tuning in right now and watching this and are curious because, you know, Utah fans have high expectations for this program, and I know you guys too. What would you tell them, even though we don't know when the season's going to begin, what would you tell them about the upcoming season, Riley?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be ready. So as soon as they say that we get to go to play, we'll be ready. And I hope the Utah fans are ready to cheer us on. And hopefully we can have a great year and get to that tournament this year. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Hopefully they can be in the Huntsman Center at some point in time to cheer you on, right?
Exactly. I hope so too. We got to get that place rocking this year.
Hey, Riley, good catching up with you. Good to have you back on campus again. I look forward to catching up with you in person real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That's another edition of our Ute Profiles here. We'll take a break on this one and then be back to talk some more Utah basketball next week. Enjoy and go Utes.